Mr. Jordan. How are you doing?
Good and you, man.
Why are
Did
you
I not?
squinting? What's going on?
Am I squinting? No,
Yeah,
something
you were
popped up
like,
on the screen. Something popped up on the screen. Ah, I'm not wearing my glasses, so I can't see.
okay, where's your glasses?
No, they're here, but I don't like to. I don't need them to look at the screen. It's just something popped up, some YouTube thing.
Okay, cool.
I think
Did you
it's
check out the
telling me
video?
that. Yeah, I did. I did the 3 videos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I did.
What did you
What did I think?
yeah.
No. They were good. They well, they touched points that a lot of people struggle with when it comes to confidence.
Yeah.
It is true, but I know when I think about it, yeah, maybe I like obviously try to see how it works towards myself.
Yeah.
Maybe when I was much bigger than yeah, but I don't. I really didn't. Even when I was bigger, I never had a confidence issue. You know,
Okay.
like
Okay.
never ever. I never. Okay, maybe my weight was maybe a health issue. Yeah, but I never like looked at myself and I was like, I'm a piece of trash because I'm fat.
Okay.
No, I
So
never had that. I've always been a confident person. You know because
okay, but
I
confident in what way? Confident in what way?
myself like I've always like I've never ever needed like what people thought about me has never worried me like confident in that way I've never ever had to look for someone to tell me that I'm good at something. I've always known what I'm good at. I always
Yeah.
know that I'm good at stuff. I don't need people to tell me that I'm good at stuff, and I've never ever looked for anyone's approval when it comes to anything you know.
Okay.
So yeah, I've always been confident in that way. Whether it's from my physical looks, my brain, whatever, I know I'm smart. I don't need people to tell me I'm smart. I know I'm good looking. I don't need people to tell me I'm good looking. I know I'm good at sports. I don't need people to tell me I'm good at sports. Stuff like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
Okay. So if I look at the definition of self-confidence, right?
mm,
It's the feeling of trust in one's abilities, one's qualities, and one's judgment, right?
mm-hmm,
So, why I think that this is a very important topic. So, let's start there because the session has started.
yeah,
Why I think this is an important topic is because you have a lot of people, and I'm gonna name drop here, bro. Like, I think you did have a self confidence issue, but the only reason I'm saying this is because, like based on our past discussions, it was always a case of
yeah.
you needed something first before you can do something else. And I think this is where a lot of the world is actually struggling, especially with the people who want to get into new ideas, they want to start new businesses, they want to go on this, they want to do a project. Before they actually do the project, they're waiting for something. So
Okay, but do
it's
you think
like,
that's a confidence issue though?
I think it is based on the definition of confidence. I
Hmm.
think it is. I think it is.
Yeah, but I don't think it's really a confidence issue because how is you not being confident stopping you from doing that? Okay, maybe like or in terms of the video that like for instance like the CC woman like what she said because she looked at herself and she listened to what other people said about her and that stopped her from uh, pursuing her dreams, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't think it's a case of that. Okay for myself I don't think it was a maybe okay maybe you are right because maybe it's confident in stepping into a new space.
Yes. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to a new space, not confident in something that I'm good at. If you get what I'm saying. So like if we had to
Okay.
do something that I know I'm good at, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have a problem. Like even if
Yeah.
it's like new business around something I'm confident in, then obviously I won't
Mm.
have an issue. Like for
Yeah.
instance with her, she was confident in what she wanted to do, like with the being
Yeah.
on stage, being an actress, but people told her she can't do it, right?
Mm.
But like for us, if we had to do like let's say for like if you had to come to me and say, Jordan, let's start a rugby team, I can be confident enough to say, yeah, I don't want to play in that rugby team, right? Because I know what I can do. And even if other people want to tell me, hey, no, you can't play, I know I'm a good rugby player, right? So I wouldn't have a
Mm.
problem. But I think it's when you get into a new space that maybe the confidence becomes an issue because you don't know if you're going to be good at what you're going to
Mm.
do. You see. So maybe in
Okay.
that regard, yes. But I don't think anyone can be confident. You can't be confident going into something you've never done before. Like if you
So,
if you have to
okay.
jump out of an airplane, right? You have to go skydiving. Are you going to be confident? Are you just going to go, yay, jump off? You shoot yourself first because you've never done it before.
Okay.
Right? And it's
Okay.
the same if you must like go scuba diving or something, like in the
Mhm.
middle of the ocean, not on the reefs, like down there in the dark ocean. You're not just going to be
Yeah.
like, yay, do it. You're going to still be nervous. You're going to be scared because until you do it, it's like she said, like one of the other videos said, you have to repeat and repeat and repeat until you master it, and then
Yes.
you have the confidence, right? That builds
Yes.
your confidence up. So
Yes.
yeah, I really think
Okay.
it's when you
Cool.
go into a new thing, then yeah, you might lack the confidence,
So,
but once you've done it and done it and done it, then you build your confidence and you can do it all over again.
okay, let me give you a broader perspective. So let's like get a bird's eye view on this topic, right? If you
Yeah.
look at majority of the world today, still today, and you find owners of companies and you find people who are like setting standards, um, without being racial or adding racial connotation to it, which culture is predominantly setting these new standards? Which culture is predominantly still in leadership positions?
The white people, yeah.
The white people. So the white people are then confident. They've been able to get the secret source of confidence. This is why they're able to go into new ventures, having the understanding that, look, I might fail, I might not be an expert at this, but I can figure it out. Whereas you have a lot of people, they'll go into a new space, they'll fail at it, and they end up giving up. They're like, no, I'm not doing this. Maybe it's not meant for me, whatever the case may be. So a lot of them even stop because of what other people are saying. A lot of people stop because of fear of what other people might say. I know I had that problem myself, where I wanted to try something and do something new and something that I believe in. But in my mind, I was thinking, yo, what is my church going to say? What is my
Oh,
mother going to say? What is my father
yeah.
going to say? Whereas if you come from just comparing it, if I look at a white culture, they do it anyway, and the parents just sort of like get behind them and sort of like push them and make a noise, like, hey, well done, you're doing something new, you're being stretched, you're out of your comfort zone. Whereas if you look at our culture, the brown people and even the darker brown people, which is the black people, they don't really venture into new spaces,
Okay,
because of what is happening at their home. But yeah, go for it.
but what can I ask? But isn't that because they don't? Because what you're saying is completely true, right? But I think
Yeah,
it's more of a support structure.
yeah,
Because what
yeah.
you're saying is 100% true. I mean, I went to a lot of schools for white people, right? From primary school all the way to high school, right?
Yeah.
And one thing I always noticed is every freaking sports game, bro. The white people's parents were there.
Yeah.
Their parents are there, dude. Either their mom
Yeah.
or their dad is there. Every
Yeah.
single swimming gala, every single water polo match, every single
Mm,
rugby match, the parents are there. Tennis match are there. One of
mm.
them is there, right?
Yeah.
Now I speak for myself because my mother wasn't there. Like, oh, she never used to teach us any of them. Maybe once in a blue moon she would come, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not her only child. At that stage, she had 3 kids, so there's the other two as well. So yeah, maybe that's an
Mhm.
excuse. But even the
Mhm.
other kids that were in the team, same story. A lot of their parents didn't pitch up, right? And it's something that
Mm,
you note. And that's one thing that I
mm,
can, okay, yeah, I'm not going to say like, white people are so amazing. No, there are some white people that
mm.
don't give a crap. But those that are behind their kids and
Yeah.
you see it, dude. Especially for us that don't have that support, we can see it
Yeah.
when it's happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
And like I said, because I grew up with white people, so I saw it for myself. The parents have their back in everything, dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's a support structure. They have that support structure, and it didn't start from okay. I chose to be different. It's like passed down. The grandparents are there. The
Mhm.
parents had it when they were growing
Mm,
up. The grandparents had it when they were growing up. It's like
mm,
it's just like step by step by step. And I think
mm.
if we want to change that, then we are the ones that are going to have to. I'm not saying behave like white people, but we're going to have to, you know, do things different
Yes.
with our generation, with our kids, teach our kids different. And then these are the things that will change. And it won't just be the white people that are
Yeah.
doing things, it will also be the brown people.
I agree. I agree. And I like that idea that you had. But again, it has to start from you because we didn't. Okay, if I look at my parents, um, they would visit their matches occasionally. It would be more a situation in football. I'd be dropped off, and now I'd be
Yeah.
left to under the parental guidance of someone else, right?
Mm.
With that training or with that match day. So you do feel like that lack of, it's not a lack of support, I guess, but you do feel that something's missing. And just that's something that is missing, right? That's a level of confidence. Even by just you seeing your parents, by you
Mm.
seeing your parents, that will instill more confidence in you, right? I don't know if that's why that happens, but based
Yeah,
even on the research and on the video you speak,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
Okay,
because
go.
these are the people that raised you, dude, and you want them to see
Yeah,
you succeed, right? So you know how
yeah.
many trophies I won, bro? How many like races I won at swimming colors and stuff? My mother wasn't there. When I'm going and getting a medal, I'm going and getting a trophy.
Wow.
Like
And
she
no one
wasn't there.
celebrated. Yeah,
Yeah. No, obviously the other people, but where's my, yes, everyone can be screaming for you, dude. But it's like, like in a movie, right? Where you win
mm,
something and the whole crowd is going crazy, but you look for that one person to see if they're
yeah,
there, and they never pitched up,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And it's like you don't care that you won and everyone saw you. That person never saw you. You see? So
yeah.
it's like that. So now you can win as
But
much as you
doesn't
want. Sorry.
but doesn't that affect you? Doesn't
Yeah.
that like cause you to think like, is this what I'm doing actually valuable? Why is the person that I care about not here to
I,
support me?
for me, it was more like, do they not care what I'm doing? So
Okay.
it's like, okay, so because like I said, I had other siblings, and
Yeah.
sometimes just like I don't know about like with your family, with the families where I live, where I grew up, it was more like once you get older, you're given,
Yeah.
they like let go, like no, we have to pay more
Okay.
attention to the younger ones. So I have a
To the
younger
young
brother,
ones. Yeah.
so my mother would have to be like, okay, I have to go to his sports stuff because I can't, so that's why I
Mm.
can't come to you, you know. But it's not like he was, because he wasn't like he was doing sports every single weekend, you know.
Yeah.
But there were times where it's like, no, I have to go there. That's why I can't come to yours, you know, because like how that's like how I was raised. Like once you get older, they
Mm.
let go, and like you must go do your own thing. They like my mother like instilled a lot of
Mm.
independence in us. It's like go do your own thing. The older you get, but when there
Mm.
are certain choices, when there's when you get to 16, there's a conversation. When you get to 18, there's a conversation. When you get to 21, there's a conversation. Those. So I think
Mm.
it's like how I was raised. That's why I was like, when the younger siblings come, they must get more attention than your older people. And I think, yeah, it makes sense
Then
because
you.
obviously,
Yeah.
they need their parents. But I think sometimes the parents don't realize that we still need you because we're still growing. And I'm not an adult yet. I'm still 16.
Yeah.
And I'm still developing. I still
Yeah.
want my mother
Yeah.
to see me do things. I'm still 18. I'm not a
Yeah.
grown ass man yet. I'm almost there. I still want my mother to
Yeah.
to see that I've won this award. You know, she's the
Yeah.
only parent I got. You know, so I think like for
Yeah,
me
man.
growing up, that's what it was like, dude. I didn't, and I'm not like shitting on my mother or anything. She, like I said, she had a lot of responsibility. She was a
Other
single parent.
responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
had she was a single parent. I just obviously if I had, I wish she could have been there.
Yeah.
And
So let me
I
ask
think
you a
to,
question
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Let's say she was there at those games, at those awards, at those matches and the trophy lifting ceremonies. What would that have done for you? If you like just picture it in your mind, okay, your mother was here, you had that validation from someone that you cared about. What would that have done for you? That, oh, so let's say you clearly understand now what the absence meant, right?
Yeah.
You know how you felt. Maybe it had certain repercussions, but what would have happened if they were present there and then?
Now you see, this is the funny thing. I
Mm,
feel like yes, it would have been very nice. It would have been a much. I maybe would have turned out different. But this is the thing. How different would I have been? Would it have been a good better, or would it have been not so good? Because like even when I think about it, like I'll give you an example. Like my first stepdad, right? Um,
mm,
him and I never really got along growing up, right? And then closer to the
mm.
time before he died, we started getting closer, right? And then boom, he died. And
Nice.
I
Yeah.
always ask myself, like, what would happen if he was still alive, if he had never died? Would I still be the person that
Mm,
I was? Because so much happened after he died, and my
mm,
life changed so much. I had to change the type of person I was.
mm,
Would I still be the same person I was now if he was still alive? Because him being there would have made a lot of things easier. And if things were easier, Would that change the type of person I was because I had an easier life? So when it comes to that, like with the sports thing, if my mother was there, would I be the same person that I am, where I can sort of rely on myself rather than rather than worry about what other people think? See, because now I know I don't need other people's validation. I only learned that because I don't say I didn't get it when I was younger, but because it wasn't around as much. So yeah, it could have helped. It would have made me feel like I'd done and like I achieved more. But I don't think like for myself that I would be the same person that I am now if I had it. I think I would be maybe a little bit less because now I would look for validation, whereas now I know I don't need it.
So I think I'm going to disagree with you there. But before I disagree with you, Madam Winnie,
Hello,
welcome
Edie.
to the chat room. Well done for choosing to join. Well done to you. Yes, so our topic for today, and you can please add value. I'm not saying jump in, but add your value to the discussion, add your perspective, and your thoughts and your ideas. But I just want to disagree with Mr. Jordan here. So I don't know, bro. So if I look at it, right, and this is something that I've started to understand as you are growing up, you actually develop your self identity from your parents. That's something
No,
that
no,
I've seen. Like,
sorry, I disagree with that.
okay, no, let me carry on. Let me
Okay,
carry on.
continue,
Right. So
continue.
you
But
have,
yeah.
right, you have someone who has the backing of their parents. You have someone who's supported by their parents. That builds my son. There's a difference when I'm in the room. If we go to somewhere new, right, and I'm not there, my wife will tell me my son's behavior and his actions are very different. But as soon as I'm around, suddenly he's more confident to jump on the jumping castle. He's more confident to get into the water. He's more confident to try new things, right? That's just because I'm around. So the point that I'm trying to make is, and this is also along the lines of your son or your daughter, they actually get this self-identity from the parents. And if they don't get it from the parents, they will go and look for validation elsewhere. And the problem is you can't always guarantee validation somewhere else. Or maybe they do get the validation, but the validation comes from the worst source possible. It
Not
might come
positive.
from the
Yeah.
gangster that's down the road.
Yeah.
And now suddenly the nature of the child changes, the behavior of the child changes. And before you know it, the parent is stuck wondering, what happened? These children of today, these children don't listen. That it's not that they don't listen, it's that the parent wasn't present to validate the child. The parent, their role is actually to boost their children, to agree with, maybe not agree with everything, but to be that voice of support. Because as soon as you have that level of support, suddenly you believe that you can do more. And because you believe you can do more, you start doing more. And now because you are doing more, you begin to realize what you are capable of. So that's why I'm going to completely disagree with you. But before you jump in, Mr. Jordan, let's get Madam Winnie's take on this. Madam Winnie, we're discussing self-confidence, we're discussing confidence and how this actually relates to leadership. So I want to find out from you, what are your thoughts on this topic? I want to find out, do you think that confidence does have a role to play in leadership? And then also, like, where do you actually draw your confidence from, you as Madam Winnie?
Good evening and thanks for adding on. And though I'm on the late shading, anytime my phone can shut, but anyway, I'm happy that I joined in. To me, confidence, I think it plays a good role in a leader, or in a leader actually, because without confidence, how are you going to talk? Because first of all, we need communication. Without communication, then meaning you cannot talk to people, mind you. You as a leader, wherever in anything that you're confident is the number one. Before you talk to people, you need to have confidence. And again, I do agree with you that confidence, you need to earn it before outside. You need to earn it inside in your home. maybe you love some sort of
Okay.
thing, like you love cooking. Then when you've cooked, maybe you
Yeah.
love cooking, but you cannot cook a nice meal or tasty meal. But if
Yeah.
your parents they don't give you the thing that, wow, yeah, next time I think you can, like, it's like they don't build the confidence,
Yeah.
as you said. I do agree with you, though I didn't
Yeah.
I get Jordan in this in the middle of the thing, but confidence, I think you need to
Yeah.
firstly get it in your home. But to me, to have a confidence is my why.
Mm.
What do I want every time? If I feel like my confidence is shading
Hmm.
Mm-mm. Mr. Jordan, is it clear on your side or is it just
No, no, it's not clear on my side
breaking,
either.
eh?
why
I think
my why I started this and why. Most of the people, they don't understand what I'm doing, but I'm looking to me like, no, people, yeah, hello,
Oh, sorry.
Okay. Man,
hello.
Minnie, you did break up there. No, you did break
Oh,
up
I
there. So
did
the last thing
break
that you heard was about, yeah, the last thing you heard was about your why and how your why actually gives you confidence. Yeah, so if you can carry on from there.
saying
Like watching a movie in
Okay,
slow
no.
motion.
Yeah, no, it's not flowing so nicely, but it's
oh,
okay. We'll
like
come back to
myself.
you.
Okay, thank you. Personally, is that is my why.
Yeah.
Make sure that I love something, maybe. No problem,
Yeah.
thank you. I think it's battery. It's dying.
Is okay. Okay. But I actually would really like to hear that perspective because
Yeah, me
I
too.
want, yeah, like, okay, so your why gives you confidence. Maybe
Yes,
try
my
one more
why.
time. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm saying, as I was saying, my why give me confidence, like my inner
Yeah.
thing that I want, the desire that I have. It gives me
Yeah.
to push more than looking at people and be like, people will say what it is that I can say somewhere, somehow, you
Yeah.
get to out of that stage of people will think of what, then you're more of concentrating on your why. If you concentrate more on your why, then people somewhere, somehow, they come after. Even my family, somewhere, somehow, I do break their rule, or maybe the what they want, because they are not. They're not the one that like what I want. I tell myself that,
Yeah.
like that, like, okay, let me just take a risk and do this. Like I was once being disadvantaged by my family when I started going to find a job. They would be like, you cannot work in retail. What I was like, those who are working there,
Mm.
uh what about them? Wow, what special I have? What am I doing now?
Mm.
You understand? Then I
Yeah.
pushed some. I just break the rule, I can say. Then I went there. Then after that, they see that I'm happy. They were like, oh. Then when I say I'm going to leave there, I wanna check something, and they'd be like, no, don't go. Look, like I was like, okay. I've realized that somewhere, somehow, you don't have to please people. You must start
Yeah.
first. You
Yeah.
must start with
Yeah.
you. Then it's where
Yeah.
my why, like, it's where I realized that my why is very much important. Even your
Mm.
mom, even your what, you don't do it for them. You're doing for
Mm.
yourself. So from there, I was like, okay, my why must be the one that pushes me. Even sometimes I'm lazy, or some those days I don't want to train. I'm like, no, I have a why. So
Mm.
if I was like, why I have to, like, after having this why, and I know, because some people, they don't know their why. So if you get your why, then you are lucky, I can say, because if you get your why, it's where you're gonna get your confidence. It's where you can get where you wanna go. Then now, understand? Because people, they're
Mm.
just pushing around. They didn't get why already. Because to get a why
Mm.
is something else. Even myself, I didn't get my why. So many years I was busy. I can say maybe time, I played with time or what, but I cannot say I played with time. I think it was it was something that I still need to learn some of the things in order to be where I want to be. Yeah.
Mm.
I can say confidence built by your why. And then the background somewhere, somehow, sometimes it does. But to me, it didn't do that because I had a lot of things that I can tell you that my parents didn't agree with this. My family member, then they'd be like, Winnie, you cannot do this. I'm be like, okay, I love this. Even now, they don't understand that I can be personal trainer one day. They'll be like, how can you just understand? They don't believe in that, but myself, I see a vision, I see something there. So that's why I'm saying my why. I become first. Actually, I become first. I'm my first priority. Someone is come.
Vision.
You understand? Someone know.
Yeah. Power. Okay, I'm gonna bring in Mr. Jordan because I see he's pumping hands. You have to say about that.
I'm agreeing with Wendy. I'm saying she has vision. That's what it is. I think that's what her why is. It's vision, vision, focus.
Yeah,
definitely. But
So you think
like,
is that the secret to building self-confidence?
but if you hear what Winnie's saying, like it's exactly that. Because she can see what she wants to do with her life, but nobody else can in her immediate circle. So she has a vision for where she wants her life to go, even though they don't see it, she can see. So I mean, if that's not vision, then what is?
So, but okay, so now I have a question, right? So you have a vision. Where does self-confidence then? Okay, cool. I understand the idea of I have the vision. I know what I want. It's my desire to get there. But self-confidence still then has to come from something. Let's say you've experienced something negative. Let's say someone that you've trusted, that was in your circle, right? That person that you valid, this person is like, yo, this is my home. And then this person decides, now you can't make it. How do you then build up your self-confidence then? What if they squash your vision? What if they get you to the point where you start to question your vision? What then?
Okay, me or Winnie?
Let's go with Mr. Jordan, and then Madam Winnie can go afterwards.
Okay, I think I think that's exactly when your self-confidence comes into play, because like what Winnie is saying, regardless of what everyone else is telling her, she still feels that she can succeed no matter what people say, right? No matter how many times they've told her you can't do this, she feels she can succeed, right? And I think also focus comes in because even though everyone else is telling you you can't do it, she's so focused on her goal that she's got those blinders on. Where it's like, I don't care what you're saying. I don't care what you're saying. I know what I can do. I see where I'm going.
But so I understand that now, but now I have a question. How do you get to that point? Because you can't just wake up one day and be like, screw what everyone is saying. I'm going for my... That doesn't work. So tell me, how do you get to that point?
Experience. That's what I think. Because even if she says, it took her time to get there. She felt like she wasted so much time doing this, that it took her time to get there, right? And I'll say even with myself, because if you hear some of the things she was saying, I think they're also tied into some of the things I was saying as well. Because when it comes to self-confidence, yes, it took her time to realize that she doesn't need other people's validation. That it's all about what she believes, right? And when I was saying what I was saying, I wasn't saying that it's like I just woke up like that. No. It was also something I had to learn over time. That okay, eventually I don't need to look for someone in the crowd to validate that I'm good at what I'm doing. Right? It became now a self-belief thing. And I started believing in myself because I could see how my actions were affecting the people around me in a positive way. Right? So I think with her it's the same thing. She also saw how her actions, right, regardless of even though they started off negative, her family saw them as negative. In the end, they started supporting her now. When they saw she was succeeding, and then she now wanted to do more, right? And it started again. Now they were against her, and she's going to succeed again because she has that vision. She wants to succeed. So I think it comes with experience.
So I have a question now.
Until you get that confidence.
So, but I have a question. So let's say you have a vision. A vision. It's as clear as day as light to you, right? But it's not going your way, right? It's not working out right now. What do you do then? Like, is there a process that you apply as Jordan Is there a process that you apply as Madam Winnie? Like, but what is it? This is what I'm trying to find out. So, because a
I
lot
never.
of people are stuck. I know I spoke to Mr. Leto one day and he told me that, hey, dude, we're not trees. You don't get stuck if you're a human. Move, you know. But a
Yeah.
lot of people are stuck, bro. Why is it that so much of the world is still in poverty? So much of the world is still in a state of lack of development. There's so much of obstacles. What so you are saying, yes, it's experience, but how? Tell me, how do you as Jordan do this? Yeah.
So I was having a conversation with a friend of mine today. We were talking about load shedding, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and why and like how did things get to this stage where load shedding is now
yeah.
an everyday thing? And she said like people have become okay with it. That's the problem, right? We've
Mm,
now become so used to living this way that we're not
mm,
doing anything about it, right?
mm,
So like what you're saying, whenever something's not going your way, you have to
mm,
figure out how to do something about it, right? So like how
mm.
Lisa says, we're not trees, right? Because trees don't move, right? They just
Yeah.
stay there and go, right? So same like us. If we're struggling, it doesn't mean that we must leave our idea. If our idea is not going and we're not getting the result, we don't leave it. We just
Mm,
find a
To find
different way to get to the same thing, I think. And you
mm,
don't give up, bro. Like, yo, like for me, that's one thing I've learned in my life. Never give up. You can never say never. You know, there's so many things that I've got that 10 years ago I thought I would never have. So many things I've
mm,
achieved that I thought I would never. And it's like I cannot stress it enough. Never say never. There's no such thing. That is the
mm,
it's like the biggest lie. You can come from anywhere and you can have the
mm,
life you want. But never say never. There's no such thing as never. You can get it. I'm telling you.
mm,
So for me, that's what I believe. That's how I get through things. Because whenever times get difficult, I just think back and like, I thought I wouldn't be able to do this. Now I've done it. I thought I wouldn't be able to get this. Now I've got it. Right. So
yeah.
for me, it's never say never. You never give up. Never ever give up. No matter how hard things get, you look at your
Yeah.
life and you will. We all have something that we can look back to. Even Winnie can look back to
Mm,
her past things that she's accomplished, so she
mm,
knows she can get to where she wants to go. You can look at the past things you've
mm,
done, and you can get to
mm,
where you want to go. So it's you never give up,
mm,
regardless of what's happening around you, regardless of the lack of success, the lack of movement. Never give
mm,
up. Find a way to get through.
mm. So you're saying that that resilience, if you practice it enough, that's the thing that actually gives you confidence.
Yeah,
So I have a different strategy. I have a
okay.
different strategy when it comes to building self-confidence, right? And this is something that I had a conversation with Dane, right, who also joins the calls every now and then. It was this man's mindset just blew my mind. He said, how I develop confidence, right, is first I need I have the understanding of the process. I have it. I know that whatever I want, it's tangible, it's achievable, but I also have the understanding and it's clear that it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
So when a mountain comes my way, right, that mountain, there's no fear of failure, but it's the idea of failing that actually gives him the motivation and confidence because he looks at the previous mountain that he's just conquered. And it's like, if I can conquer that mountain, this mountain, no matter how big it is, I can also conquer it. So he actually looks at the challenge, he looks at the failures, he looks at the things that don't really work out for him. He gets fuel from that. And I was like, what? That is incredible. You can actually take something that is perceived to be negative by so many people and use it for your good. The idea of failure doesn't make him scared. It actually motivates him. It pumps him. It gives him self-belief because he realizes no matter what the challenge is, I'm gonna grow now. I'm gonna be able to get over this challenge, no matter what it is. Because that obviously, in order for me to climb this mountain, I will have to change and I will have to become the person who's able to climb the mountain. So that's the thing that excites him. So that's something that I've taken from his book as well. Like, damn, yeah. When I see a challenge and I see something that's impossible, I get excited, man.
But I don't think that's experience
It
because you
is
build up
experience.
that experience.
Yeah.
You build up that experience because it's like
Mm,
like how Winnie said, like coming from her past to where she is now. Like I said, when coming from my past to where you are now, it's experience. You know, if you want to simplify it, you know, it's experience, because you, like how you say, you can't just wake up and become someone different. You have to go through things in order to get there, right? So like with what Dane is saying, he had to go over those other mountains to realize that he can get over the next mountain. You see. So I mean, if you live an easy life, right, for instance, right, and I'm not gonna, this doesn't mean that people that have lived easy life they won't be able to handle, right? But if you have an easy life, I think when hard times come, you find it harder to get over those things. Whereas someone that has the experience of going through difficult times, they will find it easier. You see.
I agree.
I think it's experience, dude. Like experience, you know, a lot of people don't understand how important experience is, because it's the same thing like how on the journey how we talk about you look for a mentor. Why do you go for a mentor? Because
it's someone who's qualified. They've gone through the process.
Oh, they have the experience. They have experience. That's just it. Even it's I don't think there's anything to do with qualification. It's just they have the experience, right? And it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be an older person or something, right? You can go like speak to your, like let's say you go to the national football team or something, right? You're gonna go speak to your captain, right? Because he has the experience of being there longer than you have, right? You're gonna go speak to the other players that have been playing there because they have the experience, because they've been there longer than you have, right? And the more time you spend with him, the more experience you yourself gain, which then changes you. Then you become the person that the next person comes to speak to. You see. So I think it's about the experiences that you have and what you learn from them. Because it's nice to have experiences, but you have to learn from those experiences. Like how Danny is saying, the experiences he learned and it changed him, it shaped him along the way. You see, so he started here. By the time he got there, he was a different person, right? Because he learned from those experiences. So I agree with him there. I do, and I think it is a very good way to look at life. Everything is an experience. It is definitely.
Sure. Wow. Okay, so I have another question then. So that's how, is that how you develop confidence, or is that how you develop self-confidence?
I think it's how for myself, I think it's how I would develop self-confidence. Because if I, like I said, like how I was saying earlier, if I had never gone through the things that I had gone through, what would my life be like? What type of person would I be like now? You see, things like if one thing had changed, had gone differently 10 years ago, would I be the same person I am now? Would I be more of a person or less of a person? Right? And those experiences give you the confidence to approach a situation in a certain way. Right? So I know that I can do certain things now because of the experiences that I've had. And I'm not saying that I know I can swim because I learned how to swim. No. Right? I know how to, it's more like I know how to build a raft while I'm swimming in the water type of thing, you know? Because I have that experience.
Wow. Okay. So my next question then is, let's take a 16-year-old, right? Let's give a real world example. A 16-year-old without a parent, we don't have that validation growing up, not really sure what they're interested in, not really sure what they're good at, what they're not good at, not really sure that they're making good decisions either. Not really sure that their judgment is clear, because every time they make a judgment, it's either wrong. When they make a decision, they end up hating the consequences thereof. What do you say to that person? You as Jordan, what do you say now?
So I would say, you know, it sounds impossible. Right? It sounds impossible. But that's when you have to make a choice about what type of life you want to live. Right? And that's when you have to look at yourself. Start thinking, am I capable of living the life I want to live? And the answer has to be yes. Right? Once you have that yes, like how would you? No, because the thing is, if you think about it like this, a person in that exact same situation, the one thing they're always going to do is look for someone that's in a better situation, right? And then they're going to attach onto that person, and they're going to learn from that person. They're going to live the life that person. But the thing is that that's not your life. That's not who you are. All you're doing is mimicking what's around you. All you're doing is mimicking success or whatever, right? How are you going to develop as a person? I mean, I know people that are fake. They are fake, right? When they come into a room, you can immediately tell this person is only acting this way because they're around this group of people. Because when they're around a different group of people, they act in a totally different way, right? And that's because they didn't develop themselves, right? They latched on to someone and they learned how that person does. So they learn how to be a chameleon, go into a room, change color, go into a different room, change color, go into a different space, change color, right? Whereas if you find people
right?
that,
So listening to what you're saying, and I agree with you. Okay, I don't know if I agree with you yet. I personally need to hear your point. But the source of that issue is then misidentification. So people, the reason why they'll become a chameleon, why they'll change, and why they'll
Lack of
allow
identity.
environments to change, it's lack of identity. And lack of identity stems from lack of
Self.
self-confidence. Yes.
That's what I said,
So
lack of identity.
before you carry on there, Mr. Jordan, let's get Madam Winnie involved. Madam Winnie, okay, let's try this. If you turn your video off, Madam Winnie, what does that do? Turn your video off and then leave your sound on.
Maybe.
Yeah, and then leave your sound on. Okay, cool. So, Madam Winnie, give us some input from your end. We're talking to a 16-year-old who doesn't have an identity right now, right? Whatever they find, that's what they attach themselves to, so they become a chameleon. What would you say to that person, to that 16-year-old, for that 16-year-old to develop self-confidence? What would you say? And how do they get to that point where they are self-confident?
I think Winnie's network is just terrible. Must be that.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Go for it. Go for it. Yeah.
I have a problem with network, and load shedding just came just now, and I'm on 2%.
Okay. So is it okay? Can we try this maybe? Maybe you can text your reply, Madam Winnie. I think that will work. What would you say to a 16-year-old who needs self-confidence? If you can maybe text that in the chat box. So all you have to do is click more, and then there'll be a chat box that opens up, and then you can just type your reply there. Then I will be able to read it out loud. And then while
16-year-old
is happening, a 16-year-old, yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that's a very pivotal age. Yeah. Do you get it? Do you see it there?
Yeah, I see it. A 16-year-old.
Okay, cool. Yes. So if you can continue to type, Mr. Jordan, I'm going to ask you to carry on and make your point of what you were saying.
Yeah. So like what I was saying is, I would tell the thing is, I don't know if talking really works in those type of situations, to be honest. I don't know if talking really works because if you're a type of person that's got no one, okay, like we said, has no one in there, they don't get validation from anywhere, and they just feel like they can't do anything. I don't really think that person needs to be maybe taken under a wing, you know?
Yeah.
I would say, okay, come spend time with me then. Me myself, that's what I would do. I would say if you feel that way, then you can come hang out with me. One thing I used to do a lot.
What would that do?
I think it would give them a place where they can feel safe, first of all. Because a person like that has no one I would think they have no base, if that makes sense. Everything is constantly changing, it's constantly shaking. They don't have a steady foundation from which to build themselves in the first place. Right? And that steady foundation that you get as a person starts from home, right? Because those people that help you grow first. So I think if you help them get a steady foundation, then they can start trying to figure out the type of person they want to be. And one thing I used to do in high school, so like the school I went to, right?
Yeah.
A lot of I don't know if it's just a South African thing, but like a lot of people don't like to eat lunch. Like when it comes to lunchtime, like they don't eat.
Yeah.
They don't like have lunch to take to school or whatever. So one thing I used to do was I always used to make a whole lot of sandwiches, and I would take them to school, and I would like give them to the kids at school. But the thing is, I know the guys. But the thing is, they're shy to eat the food, right? So it'd be one of these things where I'd have to go like they'd go hide in an empty classroom. Then I'd have to like go to the classroom with the stuff in my bag and then like give them the sandwiches. They would eat it hidden. They don't want anyone else to see them eat. And it was the most insane thing because I could never understand why.
Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel it's because they felt embarrassed to take food from people because they didn't have it themselves, you know. So it's like they were too shy to ask. So I would just like give, you know. And like even in the school I went to was predominantly black people, and there was like one white guy in the school, right? One white guy, right?
Yeah.
So he was friends with my brother. So he was in a very terrible situation, him and his sister. They grew up, they were living with their father. Their mother had left him, and their father was just this guy that really didn't give a flying hoot about these kids at all. He didn't care about his children, right? So like my mom used to help the kids out a lot. Right? She still does at the school. She helps a lot of the kids there. So whenever they never used to eat. He would come to school. Imagine coming to school the whole day not eating. And I'm not saying just because he's white. Even a lot of the students at the school don't. They come to school and they don't eat. And the school has feeding schemes, but it's like people are shy to eat at the feeding schemes. They like hide the feeding scheme behind the workshop there. You know, everyone's shy to go to the feeding scheme and stuff. But you know, so like this kid now, I would like give him food as well. You know, and I would let him like come sit with my friends and stuff. And you know, people used to make fun of him because he was the white guy, you know. But I didn't care. I was like, no, chill, you know. Even though I was like a few grades above, I was like, no, dude, chill. You know, our like my group of friends and we became the sort of place where all the random people in the school would sit. You know, when it comes to lunchtime, right? So you're like the one white person in the school is there, or like one Indian person in the school is there, you know, type of situation. And all the funny people in the school are there. You know, the foreigners and stuff like that. But it's because we were a group of people that we were all different, right? I was Zimbabwean.
Yeah, you guys were.
We were accepting because we know what it's like to be
fruit salad. You guys were the fruit salad,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but even like in Zim, like even the high school I went to in Zim, like in my class there was an Indian guy, right? That grew up with colored people. So now like in Zim, right? People are very like colored people are there, black people are there, white people are there, Indian people are there, and that's where we hang out, right? So he was an Indian guy that grew up with colored people. So he spoke like a colored person. And because of that, now the Indian people didn't like him, right?
Okay.
Then I had a friend that was a black guy, right? But he was born in America and grew up in America, so he couldn't speak Shona. So the black people didn't like him now because he couldn't speak in their language, right? And then I was a colored person who speaks the way I speak now, right?
Yeah.
And you know, they didn't like me either because I don't like subscribe to that membership, you know. So we were, and then there was the one white guy that used to wear the very tiny shorts, you know, as a proper Afrikaans guy, used to wear the tiny shorts, you know, he was the nerd, he had the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the glasses, you know. But the four of us were like our group of friends, you know. So in every class, we were these four random ass people together.
But you see, that makes sense now because you then had to have a sense of self-confidence if you were to break away from the norm anyway. Right.
So this is what I was getting to now. You see, like with this kid now, that would be in that exact same situation because he, like how I was given a place where I didn't feel different. Because the thing is, that kid, the first he's gonna feel different, right? Because why is everyone else have a mommy or a daddy and I don't? Why is everyone else's parents there and I don't?
Yeah.
Why do other people have and I don't? Right? They're gonna feel out. So when you give them a place where they don't feel out, then they don't worry about the rest of their stuff. You know, they for those brief few hours or whatever, they get a chance to be a totally different person. And I think it's in that space where they can find out different things about themselves. Right? So like with me in that group of friends of mine, right? It gave me a space where I didn't have to feel out. It gave them a space where they didn't have to feel out. Right? And didn't have to feel different. Now we didn't, and now we don't care what other people think about us because now we're not alone in the struggle. Right? So now with that same kid, if you give him somewhere where he's not going to feel alone, then he can build from that. Because now he knows that he's got someone he can depend on. Maybe not 100% of the time, because we also have our own life, but he knows that, you know, I'm not alone in my struggle, right? And I think that'll help him build a foundation where he can grow. That makes sense. I know I sort of veered off a bit there.
It does. No, I
But
think
don't get
it
me wrong, I
makes
don't
sense
think that
because
means you must depend on
basically
people
saying
to grow.
you kind of need to create it. Yeah. No, but I think you need people. You need people. I believe that you need people. Like you had developed certain attributes, a certain mindset because of the people you were hanging around with. Whereas you find people who go through certain things and they isolate themselves. These are the people who fall like into a deeper pit. And you'll find that these are the people who end up bringing swords to school because they're alone. They don't feel, they don't belong. Right. So I think there should always be, and this is why I bring it back to the foundation of self-confidence has to be the parents, because they are the people that's supposed to create an environment of belonging for the child. If the child can feel a part of something from a young age, they will know how to become a part of something as they go through life, whatever it is they want to become a part of. Because you can't be an empire by yourself. I don't think, name me a successful person, right? And I'm not talking about, name me someone who has contributed to humanity that did it by themselves, like absolutely alone. I don't think you can.
There's no one.
So
I think that's the greatest, it's the greatest, okay, not secret, but it's the greatest key in life. You cannot, it's impossible to achieve anything alone, right?
yeah,
That phrase, there's no I in the word team.
yeah,
It's more than just a sports phrase, right?
yeah,
Because a team isn't only on the field.
yeah.
You can be a team in your home. You can be a team as a family,
Mhm.
you know, because you work together to achieve together, you know.
Mm.
So yeah, it's impossible. I agree with you 100% that you can't do
So
things
okay,
alone.
I have another question, but I'm gonna ask you to keep your answer brief. So then, why is self-confidence, knowing what we know now about confidence, about self-confidence? We've even discussed how to develop self-confidence. You mentioned it's by experiences. You mentioned it's by going through something. You mentioned it's by failing. You mentioned maybe it's by people that you surround yourself with. They can also be a confidence booster. So I think we've come up with some very good solutions. But one thing that I want to understand from you now in a very brief answer is, how does confidence then tie in with leadership and self-confidence? How does it tie in with leadership? Do you think that it's something that as a leader you have to have? If you don't have it, what are the consequences?
Okay. All right. So it ties in 100% because when you develop self-confidence, right? Like how, okay, how that kid had to go through everything alone. When he is now confident, he now has the confidence to step out alone. You see?
Yeah.
So when you're a leader has to step out alone because you have to lead. So you have to take the first step forward while everyone is behind you, right? So you need to have confidence to do that because you know everyone is watching you, right? Everyone looks to you to get them through the hard time, right? And I think yes, you need to have self-confidence, right? Not you don't be arrogant, right? But you have to have self-confidence because people get attracted to that. They're attracted to a confident person because when they believe in themselves, they radiate, and you start
Yeah,
believing
you
in yourself
believe
as
in them
well.
as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
yeah,
believe
cool.
in them, you
Even
believe in
that
yourself
way.
as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can feel. It's like I don't know. It's like a warmth, bro. You know, you can feel that. You know, when I'm with this person, then I can achieve, right? And then eventually you develop, where you get to a stage where you want to be that person, then you become that person in your own space, right? That's where the development comes in, right? And you develop into your own leader, right? But I do want to say one thing: the
Yeah.
biggest misconception that people have about leaders, that I have realized. The
Mm.
biggest is that people think leaders always win. That is, I think it's and I think it's the biggest mistake. People they always
That leaders always win.
they always win.
Okay.
Like, and that's the thing. Like when those people fail, that's when people are like so shocked. Like,
Yeah.
oh, how is it possible that you failed? Right?
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
puts so much pressure on people to be leaders
Mm.
because they
So
think, what happens
they'll end
if
up
I fail?
masking their failures. Yeah.
Yeah,
They'll hide it.
hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hide their failures, or they won't even try to be a leader because they're so afraid to fail.
Mm.
Right? And I think that's the pressure that comes with being a leader. Right? Because regardless of what it is, you know that people are looking at you. Right?
Mm.
And you know that some people are watching to see when you fail.
Mm.
Right? So I think because you can be a leader, but to be a successful leader, you have to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to fail.
Mm.
Right? Because
Mm.
people think leaders never fail, and I think that's the worst mistake they ever make. That's the biggest flaw, right? And a true leader knows that you cannot have success without failure. It's balance. It's simple balance, yin and yang, good and bad. You have to have one with the other. There is no leader
I
that
think
has
it's
just
interesting, man.
had success from day one and has had nothing but success.
Mm.
No one. They have had failure, and they are going to have failure.
Okay. Power, man. I think let me just round up the session. So my viewpoint on this is actually very similar to yours. That leaders, you can't have a not confident leader. That person, if the person is not confident, they will not lead anyone. They will not have influence over anyone. So if you want to be a leader, you're going to have to develop your self-confidence. And how you develop your self-confidence is very similar to what you said. Go through something, try something out. Because if you try something out and you get it right, you are now confident to then try other things. But if you try something and you get it wrong, you must now be a leader, not a leader, but have the confidence to practice persistence, to trust yourself that eventually you will figure it out anyway. And this is something that I see with a lot of, you have to learn from it, yeah. And it takes a confident person to be able to learn. I'll give you an example, me, maths. Oh my gosh, I was so scared of maths. I was not confident in it. And because I wasn't confident in it, I did terrible in maths. And whenever I'm not confident in something, I know that it won't work out. So I then have to put it in my mind that, okay, cool, if it doesn't work out, it's okay. You will figure it out. And that kind of shifts my perspective. It puts self-belief back in me. It allows me to realize and know that I'm still in control. Yeah. Regardless of the outcome, I am in control of my own efforts. I'm in control of my own ability to study and my own ability to comprehend and learn something. But that all stems from confidence. So you must have confidence. I think if you develop confidence as a young person and you master that trait, there's nothing that you cannot do. And I think that is the message. And I think, well, not the message, but my message on the topic. But I'm actually glad about your input. I'm going to ask, though, that you please drop me a text about the session so I can put it up as my status. And yeah, man, we will see everyone else again on the next Ambassador Journey session. Carrying on with the topic of leadership. One thing, Mr. Jordan, next month is the month of July, right? Because I've seen so much of growth from you, man. And I think I've been learning a lot because I know we've been having these interactions, we've been joining the sessions. I would like to find out what are some of the topics that you would like to cover and how would you break it down? A once a week session. So every Wednesday for the month of July, every Wednesday, what are the topics that we need to cover? So what's the main theme? And then break down that theme into mini topics. If you can do that for us, dude, and you actually lead the sessions and run the sessions, do your research on the sessions, come and ask questions, poke holes, test people. I think that would be super dope. Yeah.
Right.
Are you confident to do that?
Hell yes, I'm already thinking of things.
Oh, oh, okay, but that's it, bro. Thank you so much for joining. Peace to everyone out there. That's it. Peace.
Cool. Thanks, man. There we go.
Peace, man.